I want to talk about something that I feel is really important. And I think that every married woman can relate to me, especially if you've been in a long term committed relationship for a long time. But there comes a time in your relationship where you start to wonder if you should trust his leadership or if maybe he's wrong and he just doesn't see that he's about to make a mistake yet. And you start to question this not because you don't want him to lead, not because you're trying to be masculine and make all the decisions in the relationship, have him wrapped around your finger. It's because genuinely your intuition is telling you that what he's doing is not going to benefit you, or it's a mistake, or maybe he's making the wrong decision. So, how do you know if you should still trust his leadership, let him make his mistakes, or if you need to stand your ground on something and maybe set some boundaries? This is the question that I'm hoping to answer with this video. So if you like this video, please don't forget to let me know by hitting the thumbs up button and consider subscribing to my channel if topics like this are helpful to you. I get why you could feel stuck or feel confused about what to do next because you want him to be in his masculine. You want him to be the leader. You want a man who can lead the relationship, who can lead your family, who can make the decisions for you. But at the same time, you don't want to lose your voice and opinion. You don't want to be his mother. You don't want to cut off his balls. But at the same time, you disagree with what he's doing or what he's choosing. And so this can lead into an internal battle where you're wondering what you should do because you don't really trust his leadership in this way. Someone once told me that what you teach a man, you will do for them, they will expect from you for their whole life. I think that is kind of true, but you still get to decide what you subscribe to, what you agree with, and what gets to happen for you. So if there's something in the relationship that is not working, it's your job to set the boundaries. It's your job to stand up for yourself, and you can do this in a very feminine way. This does not mean that you have to fight with him or go head to head or do something crazy. You can still remain in your feminine energy, still stand your ground, sticking to your core values if what he's doing is not aligning with them. I'm sorry, I had to relocate because that's just one of the things about filming in public. Here's my view on this dilemma. If you don't agree with something that he is deciding, the way that he is leading fundamentally, like it does not align with your core values, it is your job to stand up for that. It is your job to say, hey, this goes against what I believe and what I see our future being, maybe what we agreed upon. I see that you are changing things without my consideration, and that is when you do need to stand your ground and make sure that those boundaries are very clear. In long-term relationships, this is probably going to be something you're experiencing during one of those critical years, crises of marriage and long-term committed relationships. So don't be too surprised if you fall into that timeline. But really, this can happen at any time. If you don't agree with something that he is choosing fundamentally, that is when you need to draw the line. When it is something that goes against your core values, your beliefs, against maybe what you guys talked about and what you expected, and now he's switching things up on you because he decided to do so, that's when you need to start looking out for yourself. And so if you have the foundation down of what a healthy relationship should consist of, it's going to be so much easier for you to do this in a healthy way, in a way that shows the other person that you respect yourself without common mistakes that people make when they have a low self-esteem, when they don't know what to do, when they don't have the right resources at hand when this time comes up. No one is going to stand your ground for you. And oftentimes when you kind of feel insecure or maybe you haven't built the right foundation for yourself, the way that you're going to do this is actually going to further cripple your value in his eyes, which is something that you want to avoid doing. And if you want to get started but you don't know where, please click the link below. Join my program about relationship fundamentals, which is something that I had to learn after I got married and during the duration of my marriage. Unfortunately, that is where a lot of women go wrong. They either go into their masculine energy and they try to reverse something that they don't like by fighting him head on, which makes him feel less manly if he gives into whatever you're doing and whatever you're trying to say, or whatever you disagree with. And that is why you get the result that you don't want, which is a broken up relationship, or both people being completely unwilling to see the other person's point of view. When you disagree with his leadership on something that is more soft, it's not really something that matters too much in the end. Like if you think about it, this isn't going against your core values. This is just a decision that he's making that isn't really stripping you of your rights, your view, and your value in the relationship, is just something that you don't really like, you can have a softer approach, like maybe talking to him about it at a different time, picking your time for when he is able and willing to hear you, and delivering your point of view. Two things that you want to avoid when you're doing this is, number one, keeping silent and just swallowing the pill and not letting him know that you disagreed with something. And number two, attacking him for it and criticizing, making him feel less than because he made a choice that you disagreed with. A wise woman is going to choose words that are going to stick with him, things that he's going to pay attention to, but also still feel empowered to lead the relationship and make decisions for all of you. With your support, of course, with your agreement, and in alignment with what you see as valuable. If you want him to value you, then you need to be that friend for him when he does do something wrong, instead of the person that is the first critic and the one to attack him. A woman that knows her value knows that she doesn't have to scream and yell and try to force him to see it by fighting him, because again, you're fighting him in your masculine energy and he's coming at you with his masculine energy, and it's just not a pretty picture. It's not what you want, especially if you have no intention of taking his place. You just want him to consider what you value too. All of this requires a bit of feminine wisdom. It requires a lot of grace and love, compassion, and acceptance for another person, and human error as well. Another thing that I really want you to stay away from is blindly following because you want him to lead. And I know that a lot of, especially Christian teachings, I think they do a huge disservice towards women in general and families, where they expect the woman to humble and submit herself into something that isn't right, and it goes against her intuition. And ultimately, I don't think that's pleasing to God either. And if we take a step back and away from the Christian viewpoint, but just talking about a feminine and a masculine energy, that throws everything off into a disbalance, because what you're creating is a dictatorship and someone who is going to just rule like a tyrant in the family, in the relationship, and you're going to lose your individuality, you're going to lose your desires, your voice, until you feel like you are numb to that person, you don't have any emotions or feelings towards them, and that is not going to serve you or the relationship in the long run. If you constantly find yourself giving, and having your partner take, and do more things that they want to do in the relationship, lead in the way that you don't want it to go, that is a huge red flag. Like, your intuition is telling you, you need to stand up for yourself. You need to value what you value most, because you only get one life to live. And I understand that you love this person, but if you aren't helping build the relationship, don't be surprised that it is built in a way that doesn't benefit you, doesn't benefit your desires. And you'll eventually find that you're not in that relationship at all. You're just a back piece that is going to help propel somebody else's dream forward at the expense of your life, at the expense of yourself. And I don't want that for you. So if you realize right now by watching this video that there is already some kind of dysfunction, disbalance in your relationship right now, you want to fix it, you want to reverse it in the quickest way possible without spending months in therapy, without trying to do it yourself and maybe making some mistakes, make sure that you click on the link below to join my program, because I promise you it is going to get you started. You're going to see your relationship in a completely different way and realize that you actually do have a lot of say in what gets to happen and in what way. The last thing I want to leave you with is that you are worthy of being happy in your relationship. You are worthy of feeling secure and living that dream relationship you've always wanted. So stop waiting. Start doing something today that is going to help you in the future and now. You will literally see shifts start to happen the minute that you start viewing the course and you start viewing your relationship from this new perspective. Thank you so much for watching. I want to wish you all the love in your love life, and I'll see you guys in my next video.